people spend their money on lots of different things, and some people spend it on kind of art, or some people spend it on property, and this is what I spend every waking minute searching for and every penny I've got on. Hi Dazed, I'm Alex Fiore, and welcome to my archive. I think I've got about 3,000 pieces. I forget I buy things all the time. I got one Galliano skirt, I think 3 or 4 times. A lot of people buy vintage because they want to wear it, and that's just not the way I think about it. I'm always just looking for things that are amazing. This is Kate's tiny mini skirt. That's Miu Miu. This I love. Everybody knows. The Chanel moon boots. Prada chandelier crystal. Oh my god, there's a moth. Terrifying. The favourite fashion show that I come back to again and again is obviously Galliano, but I always remember seeing this picture of Carla Bruni in this dress on this rooftop with it snowing and just not understanding what the hell this was. That kind of spoke a lot to me as a kid, and it sort of sent me down this rabbit hole of wanting to know more about it, and I think then wanting to work in fashion. This is where most of the Galliano is. This is from spring 1991. It's the dress that Shalom Harlow wore in the spring-summer 1995 Galliano show. It's all padded and corseted. This was one of the things that I put Galliano vintage into Google, and somehow this came up on a very random site, and it didn't actually cost very much money. At that Margiela Couture show in January, you felt that same kind of thread of magic that I've had at other Galliano shows as well. It's, I think, why I love what he does and why I love the clothes is because the clothes are kind of the thing you can take away from these kind of extraordinary experiences. This is quite amazing. Dior Haute Couture from Autumn-Winter 2008. People were going through Azzedine Alaya's archive, and weirdly, Azzedine has this as well, which was quite nice. The structure on the inside is phenomenal. I'm not going to say where I found it because I don't want other people to buy it, because that's the thing now. I mean, the market is so crazy. It's really difficult to find things. To buy this now would just be insanely expensive. You know, I regret not buying more saddlebags when they were 200 quid as opposed to them being £2,000 now. Things are getting more and more expensive. So I've learned if you really love something that you should just go with your gut instinct and buy it. If you can buy it, you know, and it's not going to kind of, you're not going to be impoverished by it. So for Galliano, I don't just buy clothes. This is a Galliano invitation from the cabaret show he did. The amazing thing about this one is it comes with all the stuff that came for this show. A really grotty used lipstick, used matches, money with John Galliano's face on it. When I get pieces, they tend to be better than I imagine them to be. And that it's also interesting to say that because it's a pretty kind of high bar generally, you know, if it's something I've been sort of in love with for 20 years, because there are all these kind of tiny details in the linings or in the cut, or, you know, all these things that you only really perceive when something's a kind of object in front of you, when you're actually turning it kind of upside down and inside out. If you look at so many people, they're really influenced by Westwood. I think she's a natural thing for anyone to want to kind of collect. This is an amazing piece. This is from On Liberty, which is Autumn-Winter 1994. It's corseted. And she actually created the pattern for this. Under that, so this is one of the bustles, where this stretches over and gives you that kind of amazing shape. So I was lucky. I bought the Marlene Dietrich lips print corset, and it wasn't cheap, but when it turned up, it was obviously a fake. And I was really lucky because I've got this one, which is from the same collection. So what I could do is put the two corsets next to each other. I've bought a couple of things before that have ended up being fake, and the weird thing is, as soon as I got that out, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right. So I think actually you kind of go with your gut instinct. But McQueen's really expensive to find and really difficult. And McQueen thing I do have that's quite amazing. So it's this rose jacket from Sarah Burton. Kind of like wearing a ball gown. There's so much fabric in the skirt. I think I'm really lucky that I've got to spend time with these people. You know, I got to talk to Vivienne Westwood and, you know, ask why she designed things the way she designed things. To be able to talk to Mutual Prada about that. Every time I went to Paris, I used to stay with Azzedine. You know, we would talk about clothes. He was obsessed with fashion, and obviously Azzedine had an amazing collection of clothes, and we would talk about collecting. I hope they know that I buy their clothes because I love the worlds that they've created. And it's a very, very kind of tangible expression of how much I like what you do when, you know, I've got a storage unit full of your work. Sometimes I buy things because I think they're a really great thing to have from that kind of particular moment in time. If you're going to have something from 1997, it's going to be the Gucci thong. I've never worn this. I constantly say, someone told me that Tom Ford gave these to the press. It was like the press gift of the show. If you're going to do something from 2021, Schiaparelli haute couture coat dress is an amazing thing. If you don't pick up your luggage, the suitcases get auctioned off. And apparently somebody bought a suitcase in one of these auctions and this was inside it. This is from Autumn Winter 1996. It's the first sort of season that I really remember fashion. And so this was the first kind of Prada that I fell in love with. God, the label's coming out. That's dreadful. I don't really know what the ultimate end goal is. Is it to kind of assemble every outfit from every collection, from every designer? There's some kind of massive satisfaction when you get a full outfit together, and it's all come from different sources. Quite a few people who've amassed archives have then gone on to sell them. It costs money to insure pieces. I'm petrified that there's going to be moths and something's going to disintegrate because I feel kind of responsible for it. I'm like a caretaker. I've got to make sure that these things are able to survive. So I can understand why at some point you'd want to kind of get rid of everything. But I don't know if I would want to. I can't see that at this point. Another thing that's actually good at the moment is Nicola Ghesquière Balenciaga. If you hunt, you can find these things relatively cheap because they're not quite as fetishized as bags. This is like me plaintively kind of pleading out. I really want one of the crinolines from Princess Lucretia. They're made with telephone wire, so instead of them being kind of stiff, they sort of collapsed. And there's this amazing thing where John said they were supposed to be like an echo. So I don't know how many of those physically exist, but that's the one that I'm always searching for. I don't really know how I would kind of store it. Maybe I can kind of stop after I get that. Maybe.